Special Inside Business Africa's focus on inspiring African personalities and professionals. Dr. Michael Oyebanjo Paul, Chairman Chief Executive Mopsin Pharmaceuticals Limited, speaks on the enterprising spirit, while the integrity-driven personalities and estate surveyors and valuers, Mrs. Claire Chizia, fellow of the Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers, speaks on her success strategy and story. Prestige Assurance PLC is 65 years old in Nigeria, and the board and management reports to his shareholders on how the company has fared in the year under review. We have a report. And the United States of America, the Commercial Department in Nigeria, honor key drivers of bilateral trade between Nigeria and the United States. BGAM Services Limited Chief Executive Mr. Brown Lucky speaks with Inside Business on the honor. Plus, Engineer Jose Otinwa, Director Serap Engineering Limited, speaks on the success factors for the firm and the place of engineering in economic development in Nigeria. This is Inside Business Africa, Africa's business news and information leader. Hello, a very good day to you and thanks for joining us. My name is Kenneth Odushola Stevenson and this is Inside Business Africa, Africa's business news and information leader. We seem to be having a very loaded program for today, and indeed we'll be touching on every aspect of Nigeria, from bilateral trade to engineering and also to estate surveyors and valuers and pharmaceuticals, indeed, where we talk about the inspiring personalities that are driving the success of the Nigerian manufacturing sector, talking about Mopsin Pharmaceuticals. We talk about all that plus other interesting issues on business, finance and the economy when we come back right after this commercial break. Welcome back. It's still Inside Business Africa, Africa's business news and information leader. Let's start right away with our focus segment of Inside Business Africa. We'll be talking in a short while with the Chairman Chief Executive of Mopsin Pharmaceuticals Nigeria Limited, Mr. Michael Paul. Indeed, a brief look at his profile. Really, Michael Paul is a pharmacist, and he started off manufacturing pharmaceutical products in Nigeria. He is actually one of the early callers in the manufacturing sector of the pharmaceutical sector in Nigeria. Indeed, he has done quite well, and recently the company has re-engineered, bringing online with many interesting things to the table. And indeed, it's our honor to be able to welcome Mr. Michael Paul to Inside Business Africa. Thanks again for joining us, sir.
Thank you.
Straight away, let me go and talk about you yourself, because for me, I know you're a pharmacist and you've been on for quite a while. But indeed, for the interest of people who are listening or watching us today on Inside Business Africa, let's talk about you and also what indeed attracted you to the manufacturing sector and indeed pharmaceutical as a profession.
For over 40 years, and most of the policies, that means most of the policies that have set up manufacturing in Nigeria, I participated in many of them. Somehow I was involved. So I can tell you so much about manufacturing in Nigeria. Well, after my university education, I had this idea of mixing drugs. The aspect of pharmacy we call compounding, the extemporaneous compounding. So I had a number of clientele, and the story there was that you want to compound, go to Mopsin. Yes. So from there, I worked with companies.
Well, right after university, you must have actually had a stint in some of the organizations that are into the pharmaceutical business as a pharmacist yourself, indeed. Can we look at where it all started from? Indeed, you know, where you worked first before you were inspired to set up Mopsin Pharmaceuticals.
My first working experience was in the hospital. I did my youth corps in Port Harcourt in 1973 to 74, and my internship to 75, and I left Rivers State in 76, and my best working place there was compounding. So I was the senior compounding pharmacist.
Well, to be running Mopsin Pharmaceuticals and also running your family over the years, I'm sure must have taken a lot of courage and an integrity-driven kind of practice, really. Can you talk about possibly your guiding principle as a person and as an entrepreneur?
My guiding principle is your education should earn you a living, not a job. You can earn a living by doing it yourself. You can get yourself employed. But in my own case, I love to be on my own. I want to do something with the knowledge I have. So even where I work with other companies, I gain manufacturing experience in Vitabiotic, marketing experience in M&B and Smith Klein French. These were the companies that I work with, GL Morrison and all of them in those days.
Well, since we are talking about inspiration here on this focus segment of Inside Business, now looking back at your time and life encounters over the years, really there must have been some inspiring period that you will have felt that, look, I have done well or I have not done well. Let's go back to memory lane and look at what really come to your mind when you talk about inspiring moments, sad moments, and things that you had learned a lesson from in going forward as an entrepreneur or a family man.
Products, quality of products, and give me so much challenges to get myself out of the problem. And most of the policies that are now used by doing it yourself, you can get yourself employed. But in my own case, I love to be on my own. I want to do something with the knowledge I have. So even where I work with, if anybody is challenging, you will come now, make me see. Then we have the most stable and high efficiency antacid.
Well, you are one of the major early callers in the manufacturing sector in Nigeria, and you must have made some significant contribution to the economy. And will you say you are fulfilled as an entrepreneur in the manufacturing sector in Nigeria, especially pharmaceutical product, which is possibly considered sometimes to be social services? Are you really fulfilled? And again, let's talk about, if you are really satisfied with your achievement, or you believe that there's still a lot more to do.
I feel like that, because many people have seen what I'm doing and they know it pays to manufacture locally, and many have come to manufacture. Many of the present manufacturers got their inspiration from me. I started before many of them. Some of them were probably in school. Yes, in pharmacy.
Well, I'm going to take my last question, Mr. Michael Paul, from the inspiration that people could take away from this conversation we are having now. And indeed, because this particular segment is taking a look at inspiring personalities in Africa, most importantly. And we're quite glad to have you today to be talking with us thus far. But let me talk about the fact that, because I need you to be able to inspire some youths, especially young graduates or people who are studying pharmacy, who wants to work in Nigeria. What would be your advice to the youths, especially now that the Nigerian education needs a lot of rejigging, if you want to call it that, and also to be able to say what the youths should focus on if they want to succeed?
What I can advise them is, when you go to school, learn knowledge, get knowledge, and don't believe that, oh, immediately I finish, a job is waiting for me. You understand? Think about doing something on yourself that can influence the life of people. If you do, let's say you study communications and all these things, if you have to do compounding, your own inspection will be different. Your area of distribution will be different. You can give quick approval for new entrants. It's new entrants that will grow up to become big industries. And still, it's not the money that is pushing, but the knowledge.
Well, let me say a very big thank you to Mr. Michael Paul, the Chairman, Chief Executive of Mopsin Pharmaceuticals Nigeria Limited. You're one of the early callers in the manufacturing sector in Nigeria, especially in pharmaceuticals. Thank you indeed for sharing your thoughts and inspirational words with us today. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Well, indeed, I've been speaking with Mr. Michael Paul, who is the Chairman, Chief Executive of Mopsin Pharmaceuticals. That's still talking about inspiring personalities. We're going to be taking some questions from a very important personality indeed, a Hall of Famer. Indeed, about 2 or 3 years ago, he was inducted into the she was inducted into the Nigeria's Construction Industry Hall of Fame. And indeed, she was actually, when Nigeria celebrated 50 years, she was among the top 100 professionals in the built environment that were honored at the Sheraton Hotels in Lagos. I'm talking about Miss Claire Chizia. She's an estate surveyor and valuer, and a very important one at that, a fellow of the Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers. Let's take a look at what she has to say and what she has done and what actually has inspired her to do what she's doing today. Take a listen.
Principal partner of CH & Co, a firm of estate surveyors and valuers, and my firm happens to be the first female estate surveying firm. And I schooled University of Nigeria Enugu campus, graduated in 1975, and I've been a public servant and a private servant. What I mean is that I started my career doing my that's what I've said. The competition, what do you compete on? If you're, let's take an example. If you're running a 100-meter race, then your competition is speed. How you can run faster than the other. So if you're now in the field of professionalism as a realtor, and your basic job is to do valuation, your integrity, because valuation is an opinion of value. Yes, in a way, I can say that one has contributed. As I've said, we carried out a very transparent and honest public housing management in Federal Housing Authority under the leadership of Chief SPOFAB late. It was so transparent that we didn't have issues of any staff, what you have people alleging now, people taking things for themselves. Yes, to a large extent, yes. As I've said, what I want them to learn is honesty, integrity. That's what I want the young people to know, and professionalism. They must be able to view hard work as a way of, success. Hard work equals success.
Well, let me say big congratulations to Mrs. Chizia and also Mr. Michael Paul of Mopsin Pharmaceuticals. These are inspiring personalities in Africa and indeed Nigeria. Next week we'll bring you some more additional inspiring personalities from across Nigeria and indeed Africa. Moving on now on today's edition of Inside Business Africa, let's talk about bilateral relations between Nigeria and other countries of the world. The United States Embassy, the commercial section, recently filed out some companies and personalities to be honored because they have actually created platforms that developed a relationship between Nigeria and the United States doing business. These are entrepreneurs and enterprises that are actually making that contribution. Indeed, BGAM Services Limited, the Managing Director, Chief Executive, Mr. Brown Lucky, has been speaking with Inside Business Africa on the award and also what has happened within the last 1 year of his relationship with the Nigeria and indeed the United States organizations. And here is what he has to say about the award and the performance of the firm.
award given by American Embassy that shows encouraging you to know whatever the practice is excellent. To do more to partner with them. So when you get up from that place and you put in work on social Services Nigeria Limited is an indigenous marine services company. We are into oil and gas, but all is service. We provide supportive services to the IOCs that we work with. We are a marine body system and the maritime security that we provide. Well, what is unique about it is that I would say we are not a big company, we are a small company, but we thank God actually that we have been selected among the companies that deals with the American Embassy and that shows that we are unique. That shows that we have shown high level of transparency in our doing business with American companies. Now people used to ask, how come you're looking very young, you are very so you know, we've been in this business since 2008. So you can see that from 2008 till we have paid our dues. We have grown from having been just brokers to owning vessels. So we have grown from one level to another and we are still growing. The sector it has some challenges. For a Nigerian to run vessels, the bigger challenges you have that you have to have enough from capital to do it. Vessels are not they are not owned by this is, you know, it's very challenging. That's why you have very few Nigerians that own those two. Well, our mission is to give the best services to our clients in this what we do by giving them the best services without bending corners, well, I will first of all say that I thank God Almighty who made it possible for this award. It's not man, when the time comes, he did it. So I give God all the glory for making it happen. It is not our trouble, it's not our power that we need. And we do hope by His grace that we're going to have more of these awards. More of these awards in the world.
Well, congratulations to Bigam Services Nigeria Limited for that honor being done to the organization by the United States Commercial Service in Nigeria. And we believe that next year you will still get more because you will do more business with the United States enterprises and also bring in some important reputation that Nigeria needs in terms of the relationship between Nigeria and other countries of the world. Mr. Brown Lockett, congratulations. When we come back right after this commercial break, we will be talking about the annual general meeting and how companies, especially Prestige Assurance PLC, is celebrating and also reporting to shareholders. We'll be right back. Welcome back. It's still Inside Business Africa, Africa's business news and information leader. Indeed, it's a celebration time for enterprises and also countries. While the Indian communities in Nigeria filed out within the week, last week, to celebrate 70 years of independence of the Republic of India. Also, an organization that started off 65 years ago in Nigeria, Prestige Assurance PLC, was also celebrating. And that particular organization has put in so much into the Nigerian economy, doing very well and being one of the most reputable insurance companies in Nigeria. The annual general meeting was preceded by a very important cocktail dinner that was held in Lagos, and Inside Business was there. Plus, the day after the annual general meeting that took place in Lagos, Inside Business was also there. We brought this to you. Prestige Assurance PLC is one of Nigeria's leading general insurance company with offices nationwide. Prime, with over 65 years of undisputable insurance services and a commitment to create long-term value for its clients and stakeholders through strong business fundamentals, consistent with its mission, guided by its vision and directed by its company's core values. While India, the home country of Prestige Assurance PLC, was celebrating 70 years of independence, Prestige Assurance PLC also rolled out the drum to celebrate 65 years of offering insurance services in Nigeria with a dinner at the prestigious Oriental Hotel in Lagos.
For our 65 years anniversary celebration, I got a great opportunity given by New India Insurance Company to stand here to address all of you. I feel it is a proud moment for me. In fact, I understood that from the records in 1952.
Prestige Assurance PLC, while celebrating the 65th anniversary, also had her 47th annual general meeting at the company's head office in Lagos, where the performance of the company was reported to shareholders. The chairman of the company, Mr. Hassan T.M. Usman, while presenting the annual report and account for the year ended 31st December 2016, stated that the company recorded a gross premium income of 2.6 billion naira in the financial year.
Rebalance the board to have additional Nigerians, to have a gender balance and so on. We will deliberate on that, and I can assure you that by the time we go for the next AGM, we'll also be positive to report back to the board to show the shareholders, I beg your pardon.
The Managing Director and Chief Executive of the Prestige Assurance PLC, Dr. Balaswamin, answered questions relating to the performance and the 65th anniversary of Prestige Assurance PLC from shareholders.
In Nigeria, under a single management. And you know that the 65 years this company could adapt to the changing socio-political, economic, regulatory environments very well.
In an exclusive interview with Inside Business Africa, the Managing Director, Dr. Balaswamy, gave kudos to the shareholders for the successful annual general meeting and confirmed that Prestige Assurance PLC, as one of the trusted insurance companies in Nigeria and known for its technical in underwriting of all classes of general insurance business, is prided itself as one of the leading firms in the Nigerian economy.
The annual general body meeting was very peaceful. And all the shareholders are having confidence on the Prestige. They were happy for paying all Dana Aviation claims, and they are also happy for restructuring of the capital, and they are expecting dividend, which I think our board is ready to pay the dividend.
Welcome back. He's still Inside Business Africa, Africa's business news and information leader. Let's talk engineering and economic development. Mr. Engineer Ajose Otinwa is the director of Serop Engineering Limited, Nigeria. And indeed, he has been speaking with Inside Business Africa on the success factors for the organization and engineering and economic development, especially in these turbulent times.
Okay, our company is Serop Engineering Limited. Incorporated 11 years ago, and our core area activities is in the construction industry, the management industry, and the consulting sector of the engineering industry. American Society of Civil Engineering is an engineering body based in US, but they have professional affiliations in many other countries. They do professional certification, and where you are certified, that means that you are recognized by your professional body as competent, as being able to deliver, being able to contribute to engineering activities in your society. And American Society of Engineers make it possible for you to achieve, to perform, by making a lot of resources available, engineering resources available for you to perform in your performance, in doing your engineering activities, your engineering projects. You need this knowledge, you need these resources, technical resources, so that you can deploy them, you can apply them on the field, you can apply them on your day-to-day engineering performance and activities. And this go a long way to make the job successful, and to make the professional succeed in his pursuits, in his engineering pursuits. American Society of Engineers, they, even though based in US, but as much as possible, they have great influence on engineering activities in virtually all parts of the world through the activities, the roles, the performance of their certified. The professional bodies, they regulate, they promote ethics of the profession. And where a member is found wanting, where there's a complaint against a member, this is looked into, and as much as possible they get involved in the matter and resolve it. And the professional bodies also enforce discipline of his earning members. Members are investigated. The engineering activities, projects, they are looked into, and if there is a default or defect, then solution is presented. The regulatory agencies, they are also involved in the art of discipline, in the art of regulating professional bodies' engineering activities, in carrying out engineering responsibilities. The regulatory agencies regulate these activities to the best interest of the client, to the best interest of the nation. Say, for example, in the construction industry, that we have building collapse. The regulatory agencies have studied the reasons for building collapse, and as much as possible try to regulate the activities of this industry. So also the professional bodies, over time, they've done a lot of investigation of the causes of building collapse, and as much as possible prefer some technical, some logistics solution to averting.
Well, that's about all we have time for on Inside Business Africa for today, but I will just have 1 second to inform you that in the Nigeria's Construction Industry Hall of Fame will be holding on the 15th of September, and all activities are on that particular event. It's going to be the most important event, the landmark event, the engineering and the built environment I've ever seen in recent times, and personalities are being lined up to be honored, and you will get to see them on that day. But before that day, let me also let you know that that particular event will be talking about capacity building for Nigeria, especially local, on the issue of local content and more. It's been Kenneth Odushola Stevenson presenting Inside Business Africa. Thank you again for watching. See you next time.